So, I'm sure most of you know by now. Um, I feel like I don't even need to say it, do I? Um, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to even get on here and have anything to say, but I think that it's just I talked about this before. There's a lot of us that feel like, with Ozzy, you have really, like, kind of somebody that just cared a lot about, everybody and his fans and stuff like that, and like, just growing up, listening to him over the years and stuff like that, being, like, calling him, like, my number one and stuff like that all the way through, high school and everything, and even after that, even now, like, when I say Black Label Society and Zach, I just sort of put them on par. And so, it's just, hey, it's just, I think you're gonna see a lot of grown men get emotional in interviews and stuff like that, talking about it. Expect that. It's partially, it's not upsetting because we knew it was happening, because we knew it was going to happen. It's actually upsetting because for so long he had to have this image. He had to embrace that, or he was never going to succeed. Like, you're talking about a guy that's like the biggest teddy bear in the world. Like if you actually knew him, and growing up with his music, he helps you through stuff. He helps you figure stuff out. So, like, it's just, you're gonna see this a lot. You're gonna see a lot of grown men get upset, and expect that. So I felt it important to communicate why. We don't usually want to show this side of ourselves, that sort of thing. You don't show that side of yourself, like, whatever. You don't show weakness, whatever. But it's important to remember, for so long Ozzy had to have this image because of people like that guy that was just an attorney for somebody that wanted a reason to pursue something, and just blame it on them because they're rich. So, like, it's hard because you know, he had this image that people like viewed him this way for so long, you know. So he had to embrace it. He had to do these certain things, and people are just wrong about it, you know. It's ridiculous. So, you know, let's talk about a little bit of that. Let's clear it up and get through it. Ozzy, you know, like when the whole thing happened where, you know, with the Doves and stuff like that, that was a record company basically putting him in a position where during this time where all these people were like this, and that's who's listening to his music, and he doesn't want to piss them off. You know, because his music is so great, you know? And he's got to be a certain way because of these images and stuff like that. And so, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do. So, you know, he does what he has to do, his very Ozzy thing, and I think it was calculated. You can call it whatever you want, I think. He knew what he had to do. He had to be that way. And you see it with the rubber bat. It's like a fan throws an unconscious bat on stage, and it hits the, you know, the news that he bites heads off bats and stuff like this. He thought it was a Halloween bat. He thought it was a fake bat, like he wasn't thinking, you know. And it's like, yeah, I could see that. People throw stuff on stage all the time. So let's get that out of the way. You know, he didn't do these things regularly. It was like those times. The record company gave him some doves to set free. People looked at him as the Prince of Darkness. He's going to set some doves free. And he's going to do his Prince of Darkness thing and do what he did. And yeah. And this is the point. You guys don't see me ever wear this because that's not the message. The fact that I'm wearing this now is so important. This is the point. The key to proof. This is how he had to be, where it's like, you know, does he probably even think that place exists? I don't know. Was he raised Catholic? I think. And so it's like, learn about the man. Don't sit there and just accuse. I remember how innocent the interview was too, like when he was given his biography and stuff like that, the video that they did. I think it was a while back. It was around when Osman Cometh, I think, was coming out. He was talking about it, and the guy was like talking about like how Ozzy was using some sort of Hemi sync or something like that, trying to use this or use that, and the interview was just Ozzy sitting there saying, the only sync I know about is the kind of sink you wash your face in the morning, you know. So yeah, he was just genuinely funny, you know. Could have been a comedian, you know. But anyway, so anyway, let's go back. Obviously, I'm not old enough to discover Ozzy when he was first going solo. I mean, obviously. But I discovered Ozzy sort of around those '90s years, uh, right after like No More Tears, when I was younger. Um, and so like that's why I think I just relate to Zach so much. Like I just grew up listening to that stuff. That stuff was the new stuff, and then I ended up listening to um, the older stuff a little bit later, and basically that's how my group of friends started. You know, just, oh, you listen to Ozzy too? Cool. Let's listen to Ozzy. You know, and yeah, the only time I ever really got to see Ozzy was at Ozfest, and well, I saw him one other time, but unfortunately, some stuff happened. We can talk about that too. And I missed my chance to get a signature. But I saw him. I was within like 10 or 15 feet of him. It was really cool. So anyway, yeah, I got in. I some of my favorite songs of Ozzy's. Probably my favorite song now. Like I was just thinking about like what would he even like. I used to, my favorite song when I was younger was My Jackal Doesn't Hide because it was so heavy. Like at the time, I thought that was heavy, you know. And I mean, it still is really heavy, you know. I think it's heavy. And My Jackal Doesn't Hide was one of probably my favorite song actually. And that's the second to last song, Osmosis. And so the last one being the last song, of course, being LDLI Tonight. That I think is my favorite song now. I really believe that's probably my favorite one now. I really like that song. Not because it's necessarily about LA or anything. Just it's just such a beautiful song in general, just overall. But yeah, it's pretty cool that it is about LA too. I mean, LA is cool. And you know, like that's a cool reason too. You know, obviously, but it's not just that. That's what I mean. So I mean, it's just such a beautiful song. So anyway, let's go back. Let's talk about. I just started going back, and I remember I rediscovered. I just started going back through. I just started at the beginning, and I was like, "This stuff's cool. How did I never listen to this stuff? This is amazing." And like, I just started going through. You know, the first that I don't know that first song, that first freaking album, and I got to Diary of a Madman. I got to that. My mind was blown. Like, I developed like this love for the fact that Ozzy had this definitive sound, and it was always just him. He was always himself, and I loved it, and it was great. And It's like the kind of metal where you're just grinning ear to ear but headbanging at the same time. You're having fun with it. It's fun metal, you know. Mm-hmm. So like Diary Madman, like just like just the I couldn't believe how amazing the guitar work was, and just everything about the album, like how cool it sounded, like the unique riffs and everything. And obviously Bark at the Moon too. Bark at the Moon, obviously. I forget that. I just can't. I like it. And then again, I got to the point at which Zach, like I started looking up like the different guitarists, and I looked up obviously Randy, finding out like obviously Randy was like the favorite and stuff like that. Love Randy. Randy Rhoads deserves all the credit, for all that, Crazy Train, just all that stuff. Yeah, he's amazing. Him and Ozzy had an undeniable, connection. That's why like the tribute album, like that's the point of that. You get that like like Ozzy lifting Randy up in the air and stuff like that. Like that was the point of that. Like they just just like BFFs, sort of thing. But Jakey Lee came along and expertly did, those albums. Like Ultimate Sin was amazing. I liked the Ultimate Sin. And obviously when Zach came along, that's obviously you guys know I have a preference towards Zach. Just the sound just has nothing to do with who I think is better or anything like that. It's just I just prefer. It's just me. It's just a preference. Let's see. Sorry. I loved Miracle Man. Like on that was No Rest for the Wicked back in the '80s. Then Ozzy. I mean, even going back before that, let's go back to the beginning of why I discovered Ozzy. Let's back up a little bit, because the funny thing is, I discovered Ozzy, I think, a good bit after Black Sabbath. So, I discovered Black Sabbath pretty early on in my days of discovering metal, because it was just a friend that was playing some CDs, and he just played. I think it was probably the first metal song I ever heard. He was playing a bunch of stuff. There was definitely a bunch of stuff I heard for the first time that day. Some of it was actually Rammstein. Some of it was Black Sabbath. And it was awesome. And like, yeah, I was into music, like pretty into music before that. Really, really into Elvis. Really into. I actually liked. Pretty regularly listened to Garth Brooks. I'm not even really a country fan, but I always thought he was really talented. I liked his music. Grateful Dead, I listen to them. Beatles, like old stuff, Beach Boys, and Michael Jackson. You guys know I like Michael Jackson. But anyway, he was playing some CDs, and Iron Man was, I think, the first song I heard. It was like a metal song, and I was like, what is this? Like, it was amazing. And obviously I heard Ozzy then, but didn't know it at the time, and then later on I discovered this, obviously. And so yeah, obviously, like, I found out about Sabbath before that and got paranoid and stuff like that. That was my first Sabbath album. So, like, obviously that's the one that I gravitate towards, you know, War Pigs, Paranoid, Iron Man, yeah, all that stuff. So that's why I gravitate toward. That's why I could sit here and sing probably War Pigs by heart. Like, that's why, because like that was some of the first metal I heard, and that's actually how I got into like drums and stuff like that. Started playing music and stuff like that. Was being inspired by metal. So anyway, fast forward to Zakk Wylde, you know, The Rest of the Wicked. That was so amazing. I remember hearing that for the first time, but I remember going to myself, you know, it's not just amazing because it's Zakk. Zakk and Ozzy have this new sort of Randy and Ozzy sort of thing. Like, it wasn't Randy. It was very much Zakk. You know, he did such. That man deserves a round of applause. He did such a good job at not being Randy, at trying so hard not to do the classical stuff. Like, early on, I'm not talking now. Like, obviously, we know by now, you know, it's, you know, he's done a lot of different things, but early on, so as to not, you know, try to make it seem like he's trying to do that. He did such an amazing job of being relevant to the music that was coming out, and he breathed new life into that music. And again, Miracle Man speaks for itself. Bloodbath in Paradise speaks for itself. Go listen to that song. I know how lyrically that sounds, but the musically the song is just phenomenal. And you had all kinds of songs like this that you know, because Ozzy was forced to be the way he was, you know, he just wrote that way, and people loved it. They listened to it. So why wouldn't you do that? That's what your fans want. So you're just giving them what they want. So anyway, you know, fast forward ahead of that, I started, you know, really getting into you know, like, obviously I found out then more about Zakk. And we fast forward, I start listening to Osmosis, and I found out that's my favorite Ozzy album. I was like, this is so amazing. And I remember I finally was able to start following Ozzy as albums were coming out, finally, more towards the, like I said, the Osmosis days. I wasn't really able and old enough to quite buy albums yet. I knew friends that had it though, and they would come over and play it for me, and they were musicians and stuff, and they really liked it too. And oh man, it was so good. So I had to wait a few years, obviously, I think, before getting that, and then I started getting, once I was able to get stuff, I started getting like asking for Ozzy stuff, and I started getting like albums. So I got like The Osman Cometh. I got Osmosis was one of them, and a lot of mine were like cassette tapes. I didn't have CDs when I was growing up. Mine were cassette tapes because we were doing the transition, and I could not. I wasn't able to get the CD because it was expensive. I had a little boombox though, and I was perfectly happy with it. I had so many cassette tapes, and yeah, I had some Ozzy for sure, and yeah, it was great. But yeah, I remember finally loving being able to follow that fresh career then into the 2000s. I loved uh, Gets Me Through was amazing. You know, they released all those. Facing Hell was on that. Down to Earth, right? um or it's like Ozzy, it's like an X-ray, and he's like all his tattoos on the cover. Man. And then No Easy Way Out was on there too. No Easy Way Out was on there. I think it's called Down to Earth. It I'm having trouble with it because he has a song called Back on Earth too. And I want to say, did he do that with Steve Vai? I'm not sure he did that with. I have to look that up myself. I probably knew once. I forget stuff. Back on Earth was such a good song though, and that was on the Osman Cometh. I'm just trying to remember, because that Osman Cometh was like an essential, but Back on Earth I think was taken from something else and re-released. Right? After, I don't remember. I'll be honest with you, but that was when I listened to it. Was on Osman Cometh, and love that song. And then I forget what album it was on, but I remember discovering. This is why I started finding out more about Zach. I'm gonna tell you what. Whole World's Falling Down. The whole world's falling down. It was a bonus track. I'll have to go look. What was it? Whole World's Falling Down. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, alright. I actually love this. Even though it's a bonus track, I actually love it. Like, well, I'll get to that. I'm enjoying this, remembering, you know, my time discovering Ozzy and stuff. But anyway, we're getting to the concerts. You want me to tell you my first concert was actually it wasn't the Grateful Dead, but it was the other ones after Jerry Garcia had passed away. It was just awful. I had just started getting into them. And so yeah, I was bought tickets to take a friend. So I went with a friend, and yeah, we went to see the other ones, and so that was really cool. That was my first concert. And then I don't remember. I don't think I had any concerts in between there until I may have had a couple. I saw Disciple a few times at like some church venues, and they're actually a pretty big band. But they're like awesome, and they try not to play it like big things. Anyway, let's fast forward to the next, you know, like, and when I remember, you know, that was the point when Black Rain came out. You know, Ozzy, the album Black Rain. like was there, man. I was like, I'm gonna get this album just immediately because Black Rain was awesome, and I Don't Want to Stop was freaking awesome. So I had to get that album. And then Trapdoor was amazing. Civilize the Universe was amazing. That was such a good album. Freaking loved that album. Loved it. And yes, I was one of the ones that got Ozfest tickets. So I got Ozfest tickets. I went to Ozfest '06. I think it was '06. I saw Black Label Society. I saw Trey. Trey was there too. Saw Black Label Society. Saw Norma Jean was there. Saw Dragon Force. I saw Lacuna Club. I saw System of a Down. They're amazing. So Disturbed. So Hatebreed. There's probably quite a few others in there that I skipped. But last but not least, I saw Ozzy at Ozfest. So that was nice. At least there's that. But yeah, I like obviously No More Tears. Obviously not to skip over No More Tears. I realize I skipped over the early 90s. Let's not skip over that. No More Tears was, that whole album was one of my favorite. I loved S.I.M. We called it Sin. We just called it that because I think Ozzy used to kind of call it that when he'd introduce the song. Turn down the lights. That was a great album. I mean, obviously No More Tears, too. Mom, I'm Coming Home. Road to Nowhere. Freaking love. How do you not love Road to Nowhere? If you haven't heard Road to Nowhere, you need to listen to Road to Nowhere. Like, there's just so many good songs. Hellraiser was awesome. Remember Zombie Stomp? Yeah, I love Ozzy. he did all these cool things too. Like I remember I would follow him like whenever he's on TV and stuff like that. I would try to like watch this thing. I remember he showed up one time with like I used to watch. Remember the show Muppets Tonight? But it was like more of like adult like humor and stuff like that. Like the they had like the two old guys that would make wisecracks all the time, and they were super funny. But like I remember he went on there and sang to Miss Piggy, and I remember that was one of the funniest things I'd ever. I was laughing so freaking hard. And she's like just went along with it too. But then like at the end, like she's like, "Okay, that's enough. I'm getting out of here." It was so funny. Yeah, he did this thing, and then I think didn't they release it? Didn't he get the thing to be able to release it? I think they put it on Prince of Darkness. That's such a good album. If you don't have that, it is such a good album. It has he actually did a version of Purple Haze with Zakk Wylde. You want to hear Zakk Wylde and Ozzy Osbourne expertly cover Purple Haze? You want to hear Ozzy expertly cover Purple Haze? Whew. Please, 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 please don't hesitate to go look that up and listen to it. Such a good song. I'm sure it's probably like on his channel. Just please look it up on his channel. Yeah, he actually did a lot of covers over the years that were really good. Really, really good. Really, really good. I mean, I don't know like how people I don't know like like people in the metal community would consider it blasphemous if you liked it better, but I liked it better. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna have the balls to say it. Like people think it's somehow some sort of diss on the original. Like you don't. It's not a diss. It's an acknowledgement of the. It's actually a respect to the original. You know like if it didn't evolve it, if it's not better, why did you do it? You know like I don't know. Like I just feel like it doesn't necessarily have to be better, but like at least evolve it, at least do it different, you know. I just feel like that you get what I'm saying. Anyway, it doesn't have to be better to do a cover. It doesn't. But, I think you get what I'm saying. Just do it different. And Ozzy could do that. And Zakk can do that too. So, obviously, like, I obviously prefer the Zakk Wylde years with Ozzy. But that's just a preference. Like, again, it's not, I don't consider it, like, I don't try to say it's better or anything like that. I like it better. It's just a preference. Just like I said with the cover or something like that. It's just about evolving it for the time and stuff like that. Like I said with the stuff earlier. Just that's probably why I liked it. That's all. But it doesn't mean that other stuff doesn't sound good. It doesn't have the chance to sometimes like sound really good at other various times too. Like I remember many times actually like Ozzy even would release a song and it's like how does he release it to timeless things? Like all his music is kind of timeless in my opinion. Or it doesn't really ever not it's never really not gonna sound heavy to people. I mean, like, you can sit here and say it's not heavy, but you'd be lying, because it is. And you can sit here and try to say that it doesn't have huge, deep meaning, but it does. And you can sit here and try to say that it's not dark, but it is. You can sit here and try to say it's not compassionate at times, but it is. You can sit here and try to say that it's not literally everything, that the man didn't do everything with his music, basically, but he did. He wrote love songs, he wrote dark songs, he wrote songs about war, he wrote, like, about, how to figure out what's right and what's wrong about, certain aspects of those things, if that makes sense to you. A lot of us grew up listening to his very articulate lyrics. And again, even some of the dark stuff that is on some of those albums, like Bloodbath in Paradise and stuff like that, some of that stuff, there's just like, it's a, when he writes that, he goes to some sort of like darker place in his mind and stuff like that, where he visits, a war zone, or like he puts himself in somebody else's position, or like and like the whole point is that he's an artist. He writes lyrics. He's looking for inspiration, and he trust me, he sees it everywhere. I remember somebody was like behind the scenes of the No More Tears thing, and they were giving him some inspiration and stuff like that, and they were like sitting there and like Ozzy was like talking about ladders to fire or something like that, and he was like oh, ladders to fire, that's really cool. Like Ozzy was like Ozzy, somebody gave him that like little inspiration, I guess, and he was like, oh, ladders to fire, that's really cool. And like that really is how it is sometimes. Like it's and No More Tears. I mean, that's a timeless classic at this point. Just like, While I'm Coming Home, or Crazy Train, Bark at the Moon. Any one of the 5 million songs that you can think of, Perry Mason. Timeless classics. So, you guys want me to give you a list of songs that are like my favorites? I'm going to give you a list of songs that are like my favorites. Oh, also, my favorite concert is Live at Budokan. It's so good. It's so good. It's my favorite that Ozzy did. Like, yeah, I like the Live and Loud from the 90s and stuff, when he was full of energy and stuff. He was plenty full of energy in Live and Loud, too. Yeah, he was. And Zach sounded amazing. Mike Borden sounded amazing. And Robert Trujillo was with Ozzy, too. Yeah. So, it was cool to see him playing with that. Robert Trujillo's with Metallica now, right? He did bass with Black Label Society for a little bit, too. So... yeah, he was there at the time. Did you know Mike Borden was the drummer for Faith No More, the band Faith No More? So it's really, Ozzy worked with some of the best. Ozzy always worked with the best. And even more recently, I really, really liked this new album. I really liked it. I really did. I liked The Patient Number 9. I loved it. I really did. Yeah. It's good. and I mean, like, that's the point. Like, he's always been good, and he's always just tried to give the fans everything that they wanted, you know. And you know, like, obviously, so let's talk about like some of my favorite songs. Obviously, I told you Old LA Tonight is probably like, you know, like top, and I like My Jackal Doesn't Hide. I still like that one. That one's still really good. There's probably gonna be quite a lot of songs on Osmosis that I named, to be honest with you. I like that whole album. I'm trying to think if there's like another song that would like come, like, sort of kind of around there. Maybe I'll just try to name them just favorites. Breaking All the Rules. I absolutely. It's just a good song. That's a good one. Desire. It's the same old desire. Nothing's changed, nothing's changed. Burning like fire. Good stuff. I don't know. I Don't Want to Stop is pretty up there. Like, even though that was like even like later, you know, like that's pretty up there for me. I Don't Want to Stop. That's pretty up there. That was a good song. I mean, I liked, obviously, like, I still liked, obviously, the Gus G days, too. Like, I mean, I still liked Gus G. I just, you know, I mean, to be honest, like, it just, yeah, it was a similar sort of, yeah, like, I liked the Gus G stuff, too. I mean, it was right on par with, you know, Ozzy's sound, and nothing bad to say about Gus G. I mean, like, there's nothing bad to say about him, you know. He's a really good guitarist. But anyway, I do, obviously, you guys know, like I said, I prefer, it's just a personal preference, prefer the Zach years, just because of the music. I just love the music during that time. Osmosis Loaded, I mean, that was Zach, and you guys know that's my favorite album, and that's Loaded, you know, Perry Mason, just right from the get-go, man. Perry Mason, and, you know, like, some of the really, really unique songs that were on there, too, like Tomorrow. Like, that's up there for me too. Tomorrow was such a unique song. Like, you could listen to it now, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like it's like a creepy, eerie feel, like the music. And then Ozzy just continues it with his expert vocals. Like, Ozzy sounded so good on Osmosis. He sounded so good. Like just unbelievably good. And there was no auto tune at that. There was no, that's all him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there was no auto tune back then. That's all him. Osmosis. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. And like I said, tomorrow, phenomenal song. Again, like this just like eerie feel right from the get-go. You just start to it's like, how? And like the drums are amazing. So listen to Osmosis, just start to finish. Just binge that shit. You won't regret it. Have you read the message? The writing on the wall? Like, seriously, how are the lyrics that good? And then the vocals and the guitar, just freaking phenomenal. Some of the best I've ever heard, period. Right there in Osmosis. Some of the best stuff I've ever heard, period, right there in Osmosis. I gotta have a drink. So, and then, I'm sorry, obviously, you guys know I discovered Black Label Society, which I credit with my favorite band. Obviously, Ozzy being my number one, too. I credit, people ask my favorite band, so it's Black Label Society. And, Zach Wilde, like, that's him, so, and obviously still being with Ozzy too, playing with him too, as many others were at the end there. Like, he was trying to work with as many people as he could, was the point. Like, he really just wanted to work with everybody, I think. Like, I think that's really what it was. At a certain point, Ozzy, it wasn't like, no, like, he saw evidence he still wanted to work with Zach. Like, that's the point. Like, he wanted to work with everybody, It wasn't a, not work with Zach thing. It was just, wanted to work with everybody. And I think when he even went with Gus G, it was that was the whole sort of thing, was just like, no, like, he just decided, like, he just wanted to, like, Zach had so many other things that he was working on too, and so, like, it just made more sense too to have Zach do that. It frees some things up, and loosens people's schedules and stuff like that. It just makes more sense to do it that way. And then that way Ozzy gets to work with somebody else for a while anyway. I think that's kind of how they looked at it. Like, it's just like a thing where they just kind of looked at it like that's all that was going on at the time. And Ozzy, just wants to work with other people. He wants to work with everybody. He doesn't want to just work with some, he's Ozzy, he can do that. and that's the point. Everybody wants to work with him. You know, everybody. It's Ozzy. You know, everybody wanted to work with Ozzy. That's the point. You know, like people love him. Absolutely love him. You know, and you saw that at this. You know, like back to the beginning concert, all the pictures that were coming out. Everybody there was this, you know, to support him. And I appreciate the people that came in chat to, you know, show their support for Ozzy for sure. You know, obviously pray for the families affected. It's be a lot. So that's what I don't think people realize, you know, like just how many people he inspired. You know. So yeah, Thunder Underground. That's on Osmosis too. I think that's track 4. I think Thunder Underground is track 4. Do you know what was so cool about Live at Budokan? Like that concert I was saying, I was telling you guys to check out. And like, yeah, like obviously like the amazing band and Zakk Wylde and how amazing Ozzy was and stuff like that too. But the other amazing thing was just to see how many people from around the world too. Like that was in Japan, you know, truly loved this guy, and you know, also just how much support, you know, they were giving him and loving the concert, and you could just see that. And you know, he put on one hell of a show. I loved every single one of those songs. It was such a good freaking concert. It sounded amazing. I absolutely loved every bit of that. Zakk had his epic freaking guitar solo in the middle of that concert too. One of the most epic guitar solos you'll ever see. There was magic in those fingers that night, that's for damn sure. I don't think he'll deny that either. I think there was magic in the fretboard that night. Yeah. That was, because you realize Ozzy's a perfectionist, right? Like that guy, he would always run on the treadmill. Did you know that? Before like a concert, he'd be like running. I don't know how many miles he ran, quite a number of miles on the treadmill, like before the concert. Like he knew what he was doing, man. Yeah, he kept in shape. It's pretty funny, right? You wouldn't expect that, but no, he really would. He really would do that. It's pretty crazy, but that's Ozzy, and you know, that's the inspiration. That's how he inspires people. You know, when people actually get to know him and they meet him and stuff, he's very inspirational. You know, he's funny, he's smart, and very inspiring, for sure, and caring. He absolutely is. He's got a whole family that he loved to death. to show for it. I hope Jack's doing okay, and Sharon, Kelly, and all them. I hope everybody's doing okay. And yeah, I just hope everybody's doing okay. So just hang in there. Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it can be tough. Sometimes you gotta turn off the music. I was listening to it a little bit earlier, and yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna listen to it, but if it's starting to get to you a little bit, maybe not right now. You know, you know what I mean? Maybe just a couple songs, turn it off a little bit. So just throwing that out there. Don't let yourself fall into a ball of pitted despair just listening to them sing and stuff like that, because you will. Don't do it. Just small doses so you can handle it again. That's my recommendation. I just would not do that all at once. You're gonna bombard yourself. You're gonna already have all this talk about it at the thing, and then the other thing, and then the other thing. You get it. Just try to keep going. Don't not think. Just try to keep going. Just keep busy. That's what he wants you to do anyway. But yeah, I hope they're doing okay. He was a great man, that's for sure. No doubt about that. Anyway, I don't think I have really much else to say on you. Oh, right. When I almost met him. Right. Okay. So yeah, he was doing a book signing, and I was supposed to go, and the only problem is you got to be there to take a ticket. I didn't know that. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't find the place where it was. It was at a Borders, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't labeled very well. And I'm walking around this whole place. I got there so early, but then it took me like this was before GPS was very good. This was a long time ago. And we didn't have Google Maps and stuff like that like it is now. No lie, like, I was walking around everywhere. I was walking around. I couldn't find this thing. Couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. Took me, like, over an hour, and then I finally found it. And, like, it wasn't labeled properly, and it just looked like any other building there. And I didn't realize it was even a Borders. I just thought it was, like, part of this... There was like a library or something too, and I'm like, that's not Borders. Like, it would just say it's And no lie, I had to walk up the stairs and look in the glass doors, and then it said, like it was hiding. There was no, and there's all these people standing in there. I'm like, how did I not? How? So I maybe they ran security so that to not draw a crowd. Probably. It's Ozzy. So because I couldn't find it in time, I got in there and there were so many people. I went in the wrong way. There was like I was like on the wrong side, or I must have been what happened. I don't know, but there were so many people already in there, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, I don't think I made it in time. Because I see people with like tickets in their hand, and they're like, there's like a line down some stairs wrapped around, and Ozzy's upstairs. And I can see him up there. I can see all these cameras, people are talking and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's amazing. And so I finally asked somebody, I'm like, they gave out tickets, didn't they? And he's like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're gone. And I'm like, ah. So I walked upstairs. I tried to like squeeze past the line just so that I could like at least, you know, and I made it. I like because it was still an open store and everything. I didn't like so like I walked upstairs and there was a security thing, but I was able to get a good 10, 15 feet away before there was just too many people standing around already doing the same thing. And yeah, he was there. He was signing things. He was taking pictures of people too. So it was like So yeah, that's the story of how I missed the opportunity. But he was right there, and I did see him at Ozfest, so it's okay. I'm just thankful for that, I got to meet Zach Wilde, though, so I'm very, very, very thankful for that. So, yeah, and that's factored into it for sure. I think that like I have some sort of like like I definitely am thankful for Zach always being so loyal. Not no drama, no. You don't even have to ask. I'll be there, sort of thing. Anyway, I've seen Black Label Society probably. I lost count. I have to count. Probably about 8 times, 8 or 9. And I haven't had a chance to see Zach Sabbath yet. I should do that, but yeah, I really appreciate just him always being there. That's all. Yeah, because it's that music that spoke to me the most. Like just his ability to work with Ozzy and bring that to life. So I personally, just my opinion. I just feel like nobody else did it like he could. With exception to Randy, you don't know what Randy would have sounded like. So with exception to that, like I just don't think anybody could. Like I obviously respect that too, but I'm just saying, like, that's just my personal opinion. Because he grew up. You realize that Zach Wilde, like, that's the point. He was inspired by Black Sabbath. So, with his biggest influence pretty much being Black Sabbath, one of his biggest, I should say. Ozzy being Ozzy himself, and Black Sabbath. Yeah, I mean, and then that's my introduction to metal too. So, I think it's just the sort of thing where like we all kind of listen to the same type of music, like Zach, like probably listen to the same shit I do, stuff like that. Yes. Yes. There's a reason why there's a lot of bands that you listen to that open for other bands and stuff like that. They all listen to each other. So anyway, I'm trying to think of anything more with Ozzy that I was gonna tell you guys. I need a tissue is what I need. Obviously. Yeah, man. Osmosis was just unbeatable. Perry Mason was so good. I don't know how he wrote. I don't know how. I don't know how. Like it was like he was writing a guitar riff. Yeah, like Perry Mason. It was almost like Zach went, how do I write a riff that sounds like a detective sneaking around? I love how like I can just listen to it and actually like it just really like feels like that to me. It's kind of amazing. It's the inspiration, that's all. You get inspired too. Yeah, it's just the creative talking, But no, truthfully, I mean, like that's probably, might not have been too far off, You never know. Or sometimes, a lot of times with Zach, believe it or not, he's inspired, He'll sit there and be listening to playing a song, and then just get inspired by that particular riff, and then use the same chord that riff has, but not the same riff, like just changing them. Just changing it, not using it at all. Just the chord then. So yeah, like everything just inspires, from the previous, and like that's that Ozzy inspired so many people. And like that's the point. Like that's why I recognize, like I always put like Ozzy up there and stuff like that, even after continuing to recognize that it was a lot of the guitar I was listening to in the music and stuff like that. was what I was connecting with a lot of it. But again, you don't have the song and the meaning behind it and everything without those lyrics and without Ozzy doing it. And certainly don't have the inspiration without Black Sabbath and without Ozzy having done it with Randy and all that beforehand, and Zach having those posters up in his room too, you know. You know, like, that's the point. Like, he had him up too. He was that he always knew that's what he was gonna do, you know. I think I'm just spent on this. Let's see what we got here. Thanks, guys. I think. Diary of a Madman. I do like that song a lot. That's up there for me too. Screaming at the window. You're just screaming out a window. I love Ozzy. That's how sometimes we just sit there laughing. We would just put out how random some of that shit was. But then obviously there's meaning behind it. You know, you discover that later once you actually listen to it. It's just funny sometimes the way Ozzy can do that and just be funny too. But that man could sing. He really could. He could really fucking sing with the best of them. But better than almost anyone else. Like, he really, really was very good. Yeah. It's the sort of thing where, like, he would have been easy to harmonize with too, because he's so good. That's the point. But yeah, Gets Me Through was good. I liked that song too. I actually liked that album. I really did. I liked all that stuff. What was really cool was hearing like the demo versions too on Prince of Darkness, for like SIN, Desire. I can't remember what else demo they had on there. There was a bunch of demo versions of the songs that they had on there, and it sounded really cool hearing like the demo. Like before all the extra stuff and all that added after the fact, overlaying and stuff. and you know, just other stuff too. But like, it really it's definitely a sound, and it's cool to hear that raw sound sometimes, to see where it comes. And I'm just really grateful for him to like be, you know, like willing to do some of those things sometimes and stuff like that. Yeah, that was definitely. Let's see. Yeah, it was definitely Desire. I'm trying to think, man. There's one other one that I was thinking of, and then I lost it. I was thinking of it, and then it just went. That's okay. I'll think of it later. I'll just remember. It just pop into my head later. Yeah, I think that's probably a good list of songs. Did I mention? Did I mention Tomorrow? I know I said Tomorrow. I mentioned the song Tomorrow, but that's like one of my favorite. Like that definitely is up there. Like Tomorrow, the song Tomorrow, like good stuff. So yeah, pretty much all of Osmosis, like pretty much just all that shit, like that's like some of my favorite stuff. But yeah, Desire to like that's from No More Tears. Desire's from No More Tears. Miracle Man was on No Rest for the Wicked. Crazy Babies. That was cool. I like the guitar riff for that. Like I said, Breaking All the Rules, that was cool. And like a lot of that's you know, like guitar riffs and stuff like that. It just how this whole song came together. But like I said, like lyrically, like that's why I like Old LA Tonight and stuff like that. That's why like that one's more like my favorite, because like overall, yeah, man, like those freaking, that's such a beautiful song. It is. And then, yeah, like I said, Thunder Underground, pretty awesome. Your BS is culture lifting. I like that. I like that line. The stigma of illusion controls your self-delusion. After all this could be you. You think you wish and you don't find it profound. When you thunder underground. All right. Love it. That song has a great breakdown too. Such a cool solo. Nothing super complicated about that one, but still a cool solo. Now, Tomorrow, like, he should have won an award for that. Not even just Ozzy, but Zach. Tomorrow should have won awards. Did it? I hope it should have. I don't think Osmosis. I don't know if Osmosis did. I feel like it may have, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was for that. So I think it may have been more from Perry Mason and stuff. Tomorrow should have won awards. That is musically genius. It is. There's nothing. I've never heard anything that sounded like that. Exactly. Like that. That is like its own little style, kind of. Like yeah. Like there's arguably like. Nah. Like it's cool, man. Like obviously, like just nobody can do that, like that, make it sound like that. You know, like that was its own thing. Loved it, and it fit right in the album with everything else on that album, where it was just super unique. And I'll be honest with you, I think unless you had Zach playing that stuff on the album, Zach has this amazing way of making sure you hear every string when he hits that chord. And I'll be honest with you, like there's times where like on recordings and stuff, not with Ozzy, but like yeah, for sure it's tough to tell a distinguishing factor between some of the strings. Like it gets lost in translation. And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that he does with that distortion and stuff and those riffs, you wouldn't have heard it the same way. It wouldn't have sounded as clear and crisp and accurate as it does when Zach does it, had he not done it. Because again, he is such an expertise with fidelity, with making that sound a certain way. Yeah. So, you know, that's and that fits right in line with what Ozzy wants. You know, Ozzy's an absolute perfectionist, so. And he is, trust me. When he's working, he is. He doesn't give a crap about the stuff. You know, like he'll like at home. You know, he doesn't. You know, you get what I'm saying. Like everybody watched the album, but that shit's funny, right? So like like obviously, but that's different. You know, when he's working, trust me, he gets the job done and he works hard. So. Yeah, I guess that's I wanted to kind of recap I guess the songs that we went over. SIM is one of them too. Like that one too. Desire. I said a lot of stuff on No More Tears is great too. So yeah, lots of years. Lots of years with here, let me just look at this really quick. I'll see if I can figure it out. It's not. That's really weird. Well, anyway. I guess I could talk about. I guess I could talk about. Yeah, like I said, I started with Paranoid, but some of my favorite Ozzy stuff with Sabbath was actually Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I really like that song. The album too, but like I really like the song. Fairies Wear Boots was always great. I like The Wizard. The Wizard, love it. And you had Ozzy on harmonica, of course. Always loved that. Do 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 do, love it. It's in my head now, and it's that easy because it's that good of a song. That's the point. I hear him in my head. A wizard walks by. No, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath was Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Dying just for you, yeah. That's like it's fun to play, man. Like they know that. They know it's fun to play. Ozzy had some pretty fun stuff to play too. Yeah, Ozzy has some difficult stuff to play, but Ozzy had some fun stuff to play too. For sure. No, Ozzy stuff is difficult. No, it is. If you're playing it right. So many people play his stuff wrong. They think they're playing it right. I swear. There's so many times they think they're playing it right, and it's like, I mean, yeah, it would pass. People know what you're playing. It's not right though. And then they go look it up, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, but I mean, like that's like how many years did you do that as a guitarist, right? You think it's like this, and then one day you look it up, and you're like, I was doing that wrong the whole time. Oh. No wonder. Like, you were making it, like, yeah, it's hard, but you were making it harder, like, you get what I'm saying, like, you just learned it the right way the first time. But anyway, that's why Sabbath stuff is good to learn on. It's good. It's fun because there is a lot of that, like sort of kind of like in between soloing, where you learn how to solo. You learn a lot more about soloing and stuff like that because it's a lot of what it is. Oh yeah, I mean Tony Iommi's amazing. Nobody doubts that. He was always amazing. Suddenly I gotta cry. Yeah. Fairies wear boots. All right now. You know, I mean, I just I love Ozzy, and there's just so much to unpack, and I don't want to miss it. Like, I'm just trying to remember like anything that I could talk about that I'm gonna remember after, or be be like, oh man, I wish I would have said this or talked about this. I want to just remember him. Oh yeah, you guys know that was something else I was going to talk about. I don't think a lot of people remember this too. You guys know the song "Shot in the Dark," right? You guys know like that was on the Ultimate Sin, right? Like, a lot of people don't even listen to this album. Like, that's the thing. Like that it wasn't even like, it was like the last track, right? I don't remember, but it was such a good album. And the point is, like, even only today, even more recently, Shot in the Dark is like, yeah, people are like liking that again and hearing that again. It's like, where were you, man? Like, I've always freaking loved that song. Listen to more of this. Like, this is what I'm talking about. There's like hidden gems that you probably never heard, and Ozzy has such a catalog. I loved Jack Black's. That was really good, by the way. Jack Black's introduction for him in the Hall of Fame. I loved his introduction for him, and like, it was awesome. He sort of kind of went through, the years and stuff like that, and it was amazing. It was really good, and I appreciated the fact that he did that so epically. It was very well done. So thank you for that. Oh, the little story he had about the record store and stuff. Like, it was just funny. It's Jack Black. He's amazing. And yeah, that's kind of like how it was for me. Like, like, I was listening to like these other bands and stuff like that, and it just didn't really click. I remember like even like after that, like it was like, yeah, this is pretty good, this is pretty good. But then like once I discovered like Ozzy, like, you know, not necessarily even Black Sabbath, even though Black Sabbath was freaking amazing, and it was like, again, as soon as I heard, you know, Ozzy himself, you know, like that solo work and that and all that, like it was just, yeah, there's nothing else like it. It's indescribable. And that's it, you know. There's nothing else like it. I think I'm gonna get off here probably. I remember I did have quite a number of Ozzy posters. Actually, I had several Ozzy posters hanging. That I had some Ozzy posters. I actually used to have a subscription to Metal Edge, and it would just come with posters. And I remember there was some where just Ozzy was on there. I remember there was some where it was Zach and Ozzy. I remember there was some where it was, I think it was, well, it might not have been some, it might have been just one with Zach and Dime. And so, like, I had a subscription to Metal Edge, and so I just would get all these I had so many posters. I had Cold Chamber, I had System of a Down, I had Disturbed, I had Seven Dust, I had Ozzy, I had who else did I have? I had a POD poster. Like, again, I had a subscription on Metal Edge, so I just would get the posters, and I'm like, oh, that's an awesome band, I'll put that on, yeah. And so, like, I literally just had nothing but posters all over the ceiling, all over. I had an American Idiot Green Day poster that was like a holographic thing. It was freaking cool. I don't even know where that is at this point. I can probably find it. But yeah, I had that. There's just lots of band posters. I had a Foo Fighters poster. Yeah, I had quite a lot of posters. But yeah, Ozzy was in several places. Ozzy didn't just have one poster; he had several. I remember he was just like, I had one poster where he was like, he had like all his jewelry on. He was just like pointing like this, and like his mouth was open. It was awesome. I think I had another one with him and Zach, and then another one where he had like a cane. He was like holding a cane. It was cool. Alright, guys. well, I guess that's it. I guess we'll get out of here, but you know, I again want to remind you guys, I think you're going to see a lot of grown men upset. I do. And that was, remember, that's what I started with on here. I still think that rings true. I think you're going to see a lot of grown men upset. And rightfully so. But again, I think they're just kind of like, you know, it's just gonna take a little time for everybody to kind of move on from it, and you know, because it's you know, we lost an absolute legend. Not enough words that can be said about him. Seriously. So yeah, that's just gonna again take some time for, I think, some people, and you know, don't be surprised if some people close to him kind of, you know, need a little bit of time, or you know, kind of you know, have a little bit of trouble with some stuff, or you know, like that. Just hopefully everybody's understanding of that. You know, we're not obviously we're not pretending like this man wasn't an absolute gem to all of us, and I mean, you know, he was the single inspiration for quite a number of bands and artists that you listen to today. I mean, no doubt. No doubt. And without Ozzy, you wouldn't have had the precursor. You wouldn't have had, you know, like seriously, you wouldn't have, there's so many things. You just wouldn't have had it. So, thank you for your support of Ozzy and the chat and stuff like that. I appreciate that. Everybody that said, you know, rest in peace. Yeah. Somebody said, I like the lights. Thank you. So thank you guys for your support, and I hope again, I hope everybody, all family and everything's doing okay, and again, listen to his music, but if you find it becoming a bit of a sob fest, just turn it off for a little bit. Don't overdo it. Okay. Again, it's not the music, it's your moderation of being reminded of somebody that you just lost during that time. So, you know, just give yourself time to, you know, you want to listen to all the stuff, and you want to remember and stuff like that, and it's okay. It's good to do that, but again, don't do it don't go so hard that you put yourself into a pit of despair just to, you know, just don't do that. Take it in moderation, and then respect other people that do that too. Respect if they don't want to talk about it, don't want to, yeah, respect that. Like, that's their choice, and you know. So, especially if like it's an interview thing or something like that, just yeah, don't ask stupid questions. No reason to even talk about it. So anyway, yeah, thanks for your support, guys. I really appreciate your support, and for your support for Ozzy too. And for that family, for the Osbournes in general. Thank you for supporting them, and his music in general, just Ozzy in general. So thank you for all that, for your support, for all that.